Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aapka welcome to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 3, verse 203. We shall continue our reading today from Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhate Girim Yat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurum Din Tarinam Paramanand Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Ācārya Shraddha Bhakti Griha Sampada Dhane Sakala Safala Haila Prabhura Aradhane. In this way, all the opulences of Advaita Ācārya, his faith, devotion, home, riches and everything else were successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Advaita Ācārya set an ideal example for all householder devotees in his reception of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu and his devotees and his execution of a daily festival at his home. If one has the proper means and wealth, he should occasionally invite the devotees of Lord Caitanya who are engaged in preaching all over the world and hold a festival at home simply by distributing prasadam and talking about Krishna during the day and holding congregational chanting for at least 3 hours in the evening. This procedure must be adopted in all centers of the Krishna consciousness movement. Thus, they will daily perform Sankirtan Yajna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse 32, the daily performance of Sankirtan Yajna is recommended for this age. Yagnai Sankirtan Prayer Yajanti Hisu Medhasaha. One should worship Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu and his 4 associates, the Panchatattva, by distributing prasadam and holding congregational chanting. Indeed, that yajna or sacrifice is most recommended in this age of Kali. In this age, other yajnas are not possible to perform, but this yajna can be performed everywhere and anywhere without difficulty. Moving on to next verse, verse number 204. Shachira Ananda Bade Dekhi Putra Mukha Bhojana Karana Purna Kaila Nija Sukha. As Mother Shachi constantly saw the face of her son and fed him, her own happiness increased and was indeed complete. Verse 205. Aimata Advaita Grihe Bhakta Gana Mile Vanchila Kataka Dina Maha Kutuhale. In this way, at Advaita Ācārya's home, all the devotees met and passed some days together in a greatly festive mood. Verse 206. Aradina Prabhu Kahe Sabha Bhakta Gane Nija Nija Grihe Sabe Karaha Gamane. The next day, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes. Verse 207. Ghare Giya Kara Sabe Krishna Sankirtana Punarapi Ama Sange Haive Milana. Shri Caitanya Mahāprabhu also asked them to execute the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord at their homes, and he assured them that they would be able to meet him again. Verse 208. Kabuva Tumara Karibe Niladri Gamana Kabuva Asiba Ami Karite Ganga Snana. Shri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu told them, sometimes you will come to Jagannath Puri and sometimes I shall come bathe in the Ganges. Verse 209 and 2010. Nityananda Goswami Pandit Jagadananda Damodar Pandit Aradatta Mukunda Ācārya Jana Ācārya Dilla Prabhu Sane Janani Prabodha Kari Vandila Charane. Shri Advaita Ācārya sent 4 persons, Nityananda Goswami, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit and Mukunda Datta, to accompany the Lord. After pacifying his mother Shachi Mata, Shri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu submitted prayers to her lotus feet. Verse 211. Tanre Pradakshina Kari Karila Gamana Eita Ācāryera Gare Utila Krandana. When everything was arranged, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu circumambulated his mother and then started for Jagannath Puri. In the house of the Ācārya there arose tumultuous crying. Verse 212. Nirapeksha Hena Prabhu's Shigra Chalila Kandite Ācārya paschat chalega. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unaffected. He left swiftly, and Advaita Ācārya followed him, weeping. Purport: as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the words nirapeksh means not being affected by anything material and remaining fixed in the service of the Lord. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not very much care for the roaring tumult and cry at the house of Advaita Ācārya, which he heard when starting for Jagannath Purī. Worldly moralists may criticize Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for being very cruel, but the Lord did not care for such criticism. As the world teacher of this Krishna consciousness movement, he actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things, but if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should not care for the so-called morality of the material world if that morality opposes the service of the Lord. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally shown, one cannot properly execute Krishna consciousness without being neutral. Verse 213. Keta dura giya prabhu kari yura hata Ācārya prabodhi kahe kichu mishta bata. After he had followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some distance, Advaita Ācārya was petitioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands. The Lord spoke the following sweet words. Verse 214. Janani prabodhi kara bhakta samadhan tumi vyagra haile karo na rahibe pran. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please specify all the devotees and my mother. If you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist. Verse 215. Eta bali Prabhu tanre kari alingana nivritti kariya kaila swachanda gamana. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Ācārya and stopped him from following any further. Then without anxiety he proceeded to Jagannath Purī. Verse 216. Ganga tire tire Prabhu chari jana sathe niladri chalila Prabhu chatra bhoga pathe. The Lord with the other 4 persons went along the banks of the Ganges, along the path, through the path of Chhatrabhoga toward Niladri, Jagannath Purī. Purport: in the southern section of the Eastern Railway in the district of 24 Parganas, there is a station named Magrahata. If one goes to the southeastern side of that station for some 14 miles, there is a place called Jayanagar. About 6 miles south of this Jayanagar station is a village named Chhatrabhoga. Sometimes this village is called Khari. In this village is deity of Lord Shiva known as Vajur Kanath. A festival takes place there every year during the month of Chaitra, that is March and April. The festival is known as Nanda Mela. At the present moment, the Ganges does not flow there. On the same railway line in another station known as Barui Pura, and near this station is another place called Ācārya. Formerly, this village was also situated on the banks of the Ganges. One can go from this village to Panihati and from there to Varahanagar, north of Calcutta. In those days, the Ganges flowed to the south of Calcutta through Kalighat, which is still known as Adi Ganga. From Barui Pura, the Ganges branched out and flowed through the Diamond Harbour near the Mathura police station. It is to be noted that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through all these places on his way to Jagannath Purī. Verse 217. Chaitanya Mangale Prabhura Niladri Gamana Vistari Varni Yachena Das Vrindavan. In his book known as Chaitanya Mangal, within brackets is Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described the Lord's passage to Jagannath Purī. Purport: Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Bengal, he passed through Atisar Gram, Varaha Gram and Chhatrabhoga. He then reached the Orissa province, where he passed through Prayaghat, the Suvarnrekha river, Remuna, Yajapura, where he bathed in the Dashashvamed Ghat on the Vaitarni river, Katak, where the Mahanadi river flows, Bhubaneswar, where there is a big lake known as Bindu Sarovar, Kamalapura and Athara Ranala. In this way, passing through all these and other places, he reached Jagannath Purī. Verse 218, Advaita Grihe Prabhura Vilasa Shune Ye Jana Achire Milaye Tanre Krishna Prema Dhana. If one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaita Ācārya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. Verse 219, Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar Asha Caitanya Charitramrit Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Caitanya Charitamrit following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to Shri Caitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Lila, 3rd chapter, describing Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu's stay at the house of Advaita Ācārya, his acceptance of the sannyas order and observation of the daily festivals at Advaita Ācārya's house, his congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and his feasting with all the devotees. So moving on to chapter 4 now, Sri Mādhavendra Puri's devotional service. In his Amrit Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur gives the following summary of the 4th chapter. Passing along the path of Chaturabhoga and coming to Vriddha Mantreshwara, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu reached the border of Orissa. On his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. In this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna, where there is a deity of Gopinath. There he narrated the story of Mādhavendra Purī as he heard it from his spiritual master Ishwar Purī. The narration is as follows. One night while in Govardhan, Mādhavendra Purī dreamed that the Gopala deity was within the forest. The next morning he invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He then established the deity of Shri Gopalaji on the top of Govardhan hill with the great pomp. Gopala was worshipped and the Annakuta festival was observed. This festival was known everywhere and many people from the neighboring villages came to join. One night the Gopala deity again appeared to Mādhavendra Purī in a dream and asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. Having received this order, Mādhavendra Purī immediately started for Orissa. Travelling to Bengal, he reached Remuna river and there received a pot of condensed milk Kshira offered to the deity of Gopinathji. This pot of condensed milk was stolen by Gopinath and delivered to Mādhavendra Purī. Since then, the Gopinath deity has been known as Kshira Chora. So, Gopinath deity stole the condensed milk Kshira and this name came to be known as Kshira Chora. After reaching Jagannath Puri, Mādhavendra Purī received the permission from the king to take out 1 mound of sandalwood and 20 tolas of camphor. Aided by 2 men, he brought these things to Remuna. Again, he saw in a dream that Gopal at Govardhan Hill desired that very sandalwood to be burned, turned into pulp, mixed with camphor and smeared over the body of Gopinathji. Understanding that that would satisfy Gopala deity at Govardhan, Mādhavendra Purī executed the order and returned to Jagannath Puri. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu narrated the story for Lord Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees and praised the pure devotional service of Mādhavendra Purī. When he recited some verses composed by Mādhavendra Purī, he went into an ecstatic mood. But when he saw the many people were assembled, he checked himself and ate some sweet rice prasadam. Thus he passed that night and the next morning he again started for Jagannath Puri. So moving on to verse number 1 of chapter 4 now. The title of the chapter 4 is Sri Mādhavendra Puri's devotional service. Yasmai dattum chorayan kshira bandham gopinatha kshira chora bhido abhut Shri Gopalaha prasad pradurasid vashaha san yat premna tam Mādhavendram nato asmi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Mādhavendra Purī, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kshira Chora. Being pleased by Mādhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. Purport: Bhaktivedanta Thakur annotates that this Gopala deity was originally installed by Vajra, the great-grandson of Krishna. Mādhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopala and established him on the top of Govardhan Hill. This Gopala deity is now situated at Nathdwara, which is in the present Rajasthan, and is under the management of descendants of Vallabhacharya. The worship of the deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase variety of prasadam by paying a small price. Verse number 2. Jai Jai Gaurachandra, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to the Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Caitanya. Verses 3 and 4. Niladari Gamana Jagannath Darshana Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya Prabhura Milana Aisaba Lila Prabhura Das Vrindavan Vistari Kariyachena Uttam Varnana. The Lord went to Jagannath Puri and visited Lord Jagannath's temple. He also met with Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. All these pastimes have been very elaborately explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his book Caitanya Bhagavat. Verse number 5. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Caitanya Vihara Vrindavan Das Mukhe Amrite Radhar. By nature, all the activities of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Verse number 6. Atev Taha Varnile Haya Punarukti Dambha Kari Varni Yadi Taiche Nahi Shakti. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. So humble was Krishna's Kaviraj Thakur. Verse number 7. Chaitanya Mangale Yaha Karila Varnana Sutra Rupe Say Lila Kariye Suchana. I am therefore presenting only a synopsis of those events already described elaborately by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Mangal, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat. Verse number 8. Tanra Sutre Ache Tenha Na Kaila Varnana Yatha Kathachit Kari Say Lila Kathan. Some of the incidents he did not describe elaborately but only summarized, and these I shall try to describe in this book. Verse number 9. Atev Tandra Pai Kari Namaskar Tandra Pai Aparad Naha Uk Amar. I thus offered my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. Verse number 10. Ay Mata Mahāprabhu Chalila Nilachale Chari Bhakta Sange Krishna Kirtana Kutuhale. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded toward Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, with great eagerness. Verse number 11. Viksha lagi eka dina eka grama giya apne bahut anna anil magiya. Each day Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of the prasadam. Verse number 12. Pathe bada bada dani vigna nahi kare ta sabare kripa kari aila remunare. There were many rivers on the way, and each river at each river there was a tax collector. The tax collector did not hinder the Lord, however, and he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. Purport, there is a railway station named Baleshwar, and 5 miles to the west is the village Remuna. The temple of Kshir Chor Gopinath still exists in this village, and within the temple the Samadhi tomb of Rasikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shyamananda Goswami, can still be found. Verse number 13. Remunate Gopinath Parama Mohana Bhakti Kari Kaila Prabhu Tandra Darshana. The deity of Gopinath in the temple at Ramuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. Verse number 14. Tandra Pad Padma Nikat Pramane Pranam Karite Tandra Pushpa Chuda Padila Prabhura Mathate. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Verse 15, another is Kuda or Chuda Pana Mahaprabhura Anandita Mana Bahu Nritya Gita Kaila Lena Bhakta Gana. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. Verse 16, Prabhura Prabhava Dekhi Prema Rupa Guna Vismit Haila Gopinathira Das Gana. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. Verse 17, Nana Rupe Pritye Kaila Prabhura Sevana Sai Ratri Tahan Prabhu Karila Vanchana. Because of their love for Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. Verse 18, Mahaprasad Kshira Lobhe Rahila Prabhu Tatha Purbe Ishwar Puri Tanre Kahi Yachena Katha. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri of what had once happened there. Verse 19, Kshira Chora Gopinath Prasiddha Tanra Nam Bhakta Gane Kahe Prabhu Se Ta Akhyan. That deity was known as widely as Kshira Chora Gopinath, and Caitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. Verse 20, Purve Madhav Purira Lagi Kshira Kaila Chori Atev Nam Haila Kshira Chora Hari. Formerly the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice from Mādhavendra Puri, therefore he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. Verse 21, Purve Shri Madhav Puri Aila Vrindavan Brahmite Brahmite Gela Giri Govardhan. Once Shri Mādhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. Verse 22, Premamata Nahi Tanra Ratri Dina Gyana Kshane Uthe Kshane Pade Nahi Sthana Sthana. Mādhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. Verse 23, Shaila Parikrama Kari Govinda Kunde Asi Snana Kari Vrikshatale Ache Sandhyaya Vasi. After circumambulating the hill, Mādhavendra Puri went to Govinda Kund and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. Verse 24, Gopala Balak Eka Dugdha Bhanda Lana Asi Age Dhari Kichu Balila Hasiya. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Mādhavendra Puri, and smilingly addressed him as follows. Verse 25, Puriye Dugdha Lena Kara Tumi Pena Pan Magi Kene Nahi Khao Kiba Kar Dhyan. O Mādhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing? Verse 26, Balakera Saundarya Purira Haila Santosha Tahar Madhur Vakye Gela Bhoka Shosha. When he saw the beauty of the boy, Mādhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Verse 27, Puri kahe ke tumi kahan tomar vas ke mate janile ami kari upavas. Mādhavendra Puri said, who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting? Verse 28, Balaka kahe gopa ami egrame vasi amar Gramete kehya na rahe upavasi. The boy replied, I am a cowherd boy and reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. Verse 29, Keha anna magi khaya keha dugdha har ayachaka jane ami diya ta ahar. In this village, a person can beg food from others and eat. Sometimes people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply them all his eatables. Verse 30, Jala nite stri gana tumar dekhi gela stri sab dugdha diya amare pathaila. The women who came here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. Verse 31, Go dohana karite chahi shigra ami yaba Ara bar asi ami a bhanda laiba. The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you. Verse 32. Eta bali gela balak na dekhiya are Madhav Purira chitte haila chamatkar. Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra's Puri's heart filled with wonder. Verse 33. Dugdha pan kari bhanda dhuna rakhila bata dekhe se balaka punah na aila. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. Verse 34. Vasi nama laya puri nidra nahi haya shesha ratre tandra haila bahaya vritti laya. Mādhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of the night he dozed a little and his external activities stopped. So Tandra is dozing. Verse 35. Swapne dekhe se balake sammukhe asina eke kunja lena gelas adite dharina. In a dream, Mādhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand took him to a bush in the jungle. Verse number 36. Kunja dekhana kahe ami e kunje rai shita vrishti vatagnite mahadukha pai. The boy showed Mādhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rain, showers, winds and scorching heat. Verse 37. Gramera lok ani ama kadha kunja haite parvata upari Lena rakha bhala mate. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. Verse 38. Eka matha kari tahan karaha stapna bahu sitala jale kara shriranga marjana. Please construct a temple on top of that hill. The boy continued, and install me in the temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may become cleansed. Verse 39. Bahu dina tomar patha kari nirikshana kape asi Madhava ama karibe sevana. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Mādhavendra Puri come here to serve me? Verse 40. Tomar prema vashe kari seva Angikar darshan diya nistarib sakala samsara. I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. The sun shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. Verse 41. Shri Gopalan nama mura govardhana dhari bajrera sthapita ami iha adhikari. My name is Gopal, and I am the lifter of Govardhan hill. I was installed by Bajra, and here I am the authority. Verse 42. Shaila upari haite ame kunje lukana mlecha bhaye sevak mora gela palana. When the Muslims attacked the priest who was serving me, hid me in this bush in the jungle, then he ran away out of fear of the attack. Verse 43. Say haite rahi ami e kunja sthane bhal haila aila ama kadha savdhane. Since the priest ran away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here now. Just remove me with care. Verse 44. Eta bali se balak antardhan kaila jagya Madhav Puri vichara karila. After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Mādhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream. Verse 45. Shri Krishna ke dekhino muni narino chinite eta bali prema veshe padila bhumite. Mādhavendra Puri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Verse 46. Kshaneka rodan kari mana kaila dhira ajna palan lagi haila susthira. Mādhavendra Puri cried for some time, but when he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal, thus he became tranquil. So we'll continue our reading from verse 47 of the 4th chapter of Madhya Lila next time. Thank you for joining, and I wish you all a very happy Ram Navami today. Hariam Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.